Evolution. Um, so, we are a carbon based life form that emerged here because the conditions were right for the evolution of intelligent carbon based life. Um, and so, consider back in evolutionary time in which we were hunter gatherers. There were evolutionarily attractive members of each sex. The evolutionarily attractive man was taller, muscular, and in general demonstrated attributes and qualities relevant to obtaining things needed for survival. And so the male was a strong hunter, and so big stature, muscular, stamina, and these things were viewed as attractive back in evolutionary time. And this person would have been the alpha male or the alpha hunter, who is most likely to have secured a mate, as being the evolutionarily strongest. And now going forwards in evolutionary time, the present day is one in which, due to the intelligence of man and the compounding of invention, much work is done by machines that man has devised, and man needs just his intelligence to understand and operate these machines. And so we are at a stage in which abstract intelligence and the ability to wield that abstract intelligence to solve problems, contribute meaningfully, and then earn a salary is the evolutionarily attractive trait in a man who is intelligent and who is capable of acquiring resources to develop stability for himself and his spouse. Now, of course, in the current day and age in civilization, there's also feminism, and so advocating for female breadwinners and so on, and narrowing the pay gap between the sexes, which is also evolution, going from a male hunter and a female gatherer, where the man was the main breadwinner and the thing, and then the female would gather and so on, to now that things are more abstract, male and female breadwinners solving problems. And the sad thing about evolution is that inevitably members of different generations will have a rub as to what is believed. And so, for example, let's say you have folks in their 30s to 70s who are standard Christians, and they believe in the Christian theology, they are devout, they pray, and then consider a new wave of what I would call the techno-atheists, folks in the range of like 14 to 27, who grew up in the time of the information age and the internet. And so actually, with the advent of the internet, all the information about all the stuff that's wrong with the world led more people to realize that, hey, there doesn't seem to be any God. We just have locally prosperous bubbles in which people have a God delusion, but there's all this external suffering, and all of our carbon emissions this entire time in this locally prosperous bubble is leading to things like floods and heat waves, um, and and um, and wildfires, which all cause loss of life. And so, um, what God allows that? No God. And then the techno atheists in their information age realize that, hey, we humans have actually just been inventing notions of God, to justify our locally prosperous lives in which there is always external suffering outside of that bubble. Um, and that is the current stage of evolution. Um, and so, what is furthering this is that why I call them techno atheists is that with computer science and artificial intelligence, we've come to understand the machinations of intelligence a bit more and in greater detail. For example, um, um, let's say that you're working on reinforcement learning or some type of neural network, or and so on and so forth, and backpropagation in neural nets and everything else, or some minimax artificial intelligence implementation with a maximizer and a minimizer, and so on. And you're doing all of this. The techno atheists have an understanding of computer science and artificial intelligence and the theory of intelligence that it becomes readily understood that there is no God, and the true representation of the standard American Christian, for example, is an agent with a God delusion that is a goal-oriented agent maximizing its self-interest and its locally prosperous vision, with its God delusion justifying its own prosperity with its perception of being blessed by a higher power due to its successful outcomes in its environment. And so the techno atheists will not pray and typically will just develop organized plans for achieving outcomes while knowing that there is no God blessing their lives such that those outcomes become manifest. Evolution is the machine that runs the universe. And so all of this is absolutely correct. And I do hope that you have been sufficiently enlightened. I am the Deus Ex Machina. Subscribe to the channel.